Hey everybody.
Hi everybody.
Good morning.
I'm Richard.
I'm Carbon.
This is WingSmith Drones.
Yep, going live.
Just wanted to welcome you all to a Saturday morning here. We're going to be sitting at the workbench and chatting a bit about some of the different drones and options. We've had a lot of people asking what are the differences, what's included in one, what do they look like when they're built. So We're going to walk through them. Anything else?
Coffee.
We do. Yeah, we have some coffee.
Yeah.
Bit of a rainy morning out there, so this is perfect.
Cheers.
And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat.
Yep.
We'll
answer them as they come up.
Yeah, this is pretty casual, so We'll be getting into more live streams. Just as a heads up, as we go over the next few weeks, we're going to be at the Canada Day event here in Saskatoon.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Come check us out on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be down at the river landing, so that's exciting.
We'll have a whole booth, and you can try out the simulator and see our drones and ask us any questions. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, so hopefully we'll see you Wednesday. But with that said, let's get into this. I think we're going to run about a half hour today. So where do you want to start? With the big ones or the small ones?
Well, let's start with the small ones, I guess. Do you want to start with the Hummingbird? It's all taken apart.
So we're going to start with the small ones here. We got two different versions of the Falcon, which are big. And then we've got basically two different versions here of a Hummingbird. And this guy is apart right now because I was doing some work on this particular drone. So I'm just going to put the top on so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. It's just missing the antenna mount at the back, and it doesn't have a camera right now. So
womp womp.
What I'll show you first is the Hummingbird versus the Hummingbird Pro. This is the frame on the Hummingbird. It's a Quad Mula S, It's an F25 SP. So it's specifically designed to work with the 04 unit from DJI, and we support basically DJI Pro, and then there's the more standard DJI camera that is made by like DJI but then modified by Flywoo. So I'll just give you an idea of what that camera looks like, if you don't mind just untangling me there. So this more square looking camera in the front here, this is the Flywoo lens modification on the DJI system that's in the back there. And you can see it's got a single antenna. The idea is that it adds a much longer cable. So the normal DJI 04 standard doesn't have a long enough cable to be used in even a 2-inch or a 2.5-inch drone. But with a couple of modifications, we're able to support that. And then it also has an issue with the gyro on the standard DJI system. So if you guys have been maybe paying attention to the latest rumblings in the FPV community, DJI is struggling right now with their current gyros. So Flywoo is able to modify both the Pros and the standard with an MP66 gyro, and that's the one we support in both the Pro and standard cameras. So that's where we're starting. We're starting with some good cameras. This is the smallest drone frame we've got. And then inside there is a Flywoo.
Oh, that's a little screw there.
Yeah, a screw? Cheers.
Put that guy over here.
So this was an early prototype that I'll just show you guys. It actually used the F22 instead of the H743. And the boards are, when I'm saying these numbers, it's this white board in the middle, which is the flight stack. And then we've got our ELRS that's mounted on the back. There would be a camera that's actually mounted underneath it here. And right now it's not present, but the camera lens sticks out the front. And then this casing keeps it in whatever angle you want. So this is anywhere from, I think, 15 up to 35. It's a little tough to show on the camera, but this is a 20. So it's at a 20-degree angle up from the horizontal. And then we've got some 1404 motors here from RC & Power.
Very nice little motors.
Yeah, this guy actually had, I think, 3850s as the KV. So if you don't know what the KV is, basically the motor KV is how fast it spins given an amount of electricity. We've actually stepped up to the 4600 because on a small drone, it gives a little bit more punch. You lose a little bit of efficiency, so your flight time isn't quite as long, but you get a little bit more punch. and a lot of the time that's what people are looking for in the small drones. So this guy has a capacitor mounted right at the front. It's a Rubicon, I forget what it's called, like a high emittance, but it's basically got an extremely fast transfer of electricity, and it's mounted right to the board so that everything is nice and short. And then on the minis, like on both of the Hummingbirds, there's a buzzer that's right at the back. It's a 9mm buzzer, just wired in, little active buzzer. And this guy makes about a 90 decibel, I think maybe 85 decibel beep when you click the button on the controller. And to be honest, this is just a drone fully apart at this point. Like, it's kind of in pieces because we've been working on it, modifying it. This is the XT30 battery lead.
Ripped it to shreds.
It normally runs through the back and then out the side. That keeps it out of the way of the propellers. So everything on this drone is designed to be kept under 250 grams because there is a restriction in Canada, like a lot of places. But under 250 grams, you don't have to register your drone. You don't have to get your basic pilot license. You just probably shouldn't fly around an airport. So please keep in mind the restrictions of your country, whatever it is. Here in Canada, 250 is the difference between a $10 license and a test, plus registering your drone. And with everything that flies, don't be an idiot. Don't fly it near people. Don't fly it near an airport. I think those things are pretty obvious, but we'll say it again, like, it's kind of important not to treat these things like they're harmless. They are somewhat open, spinning plastic blades that you don't want to take near people.
Yeah.
So
flying lawnmowers, watch out.
So this guy, really small, built off the Quad Mula, F25 SP, Hummingbird, just like nice, basic, easy way to get started. And then I'll just turn upside down here so you can see the bottom. There are basically 4 screws along the bottom there that are on the outside for each arm. And so arm swaps are really easy. If you ever did have like an arm break, you can just undo one screw and then pop this out. And then the arms here just come off here. I just take one off. So really basic, just pops off. It's just a TPU cover. And so we've got our 4 screws for the mounting of the motor. And these arms are about 4 millimeters thick. So you got plenty of strength there for just a tiny little sub 250 quad. And then these are just M2 screws. I think they're 8 millimeters long. So I have to check, maybe 6, because this guy's got thin arms compared to the big ones. But anyway, these are tight, small little motors. They come in a couple of different colors, 4600 kV, 4 screws mounted right to, through the arm. And then if you ever did have an issue, you can always just pop the arm out. We've tried our best to make everything really simple. And then everything is accessible from the side. A lot of FPV you'll see have side plates and things that make these look really nice, very aesthetic, but a lot of the time they'll cover the bind button that's here on the side. It's a little hard to see, but it's right there on the side of the flight controller. And so if you ever did want to get in there and just reset the drone, or if any of your motor wires ever were to come loose and you just need to do a quick fix, it can be a lot more challenging if you've got a plastic piece that's covering that. So we've intentionally decided to not do that. We use a hydrophobic spray to basically keep water from being an issue effectively with the boards in the center. And this guy is always limited to the Flywoo stack. With the Pro, we'll talk about in a minute, there's a couple of options, but this one basically, you get that hydrophobic spray, so water's not so much of an issue. If you need to access anything, it's pretty easy to get at from the sides, and it's just simple. It's a nice, tight little system. If it's honestly it's about the size of my hand, so you can see there, pretty easy to just put in a backpack, or if you want to even carry it, it's totally fine. It without a battery, it weighs maybe 100 and, this doesn't have a camera in it right now, so that won't even be accurate weighing it, but this comes in at approximately 150 grams without a battery attached. And so it's everything you'd expect. It's got ELRS, it's got the stack, it's got space for the camera, and that's the Hummingbird. Okay. Can you tell if we have any questions that come through?
I think they'll just appear like at the bottom here. So if people, it says here, comments will appear here. So
Okay, seems good.
I'm assuming we'll see them if they pop up.
Okay, so here's a little bit more of a complete package then. So you can see this is the size difference between a 2.5-inch Hummingbird, and that refers to the diameter of the props. And then this is a 3.5-inch Hummingbird Pro. So while this was a quad Mula frame, this is a Superfly frame. This is from Superfly out in the UK. They make a really nice FPV like bando / freestyle frame. And this one we've actually,
Steve.
yeah, shout out to Steve. And this one we've been flying quite a bit. It's probably my personal favorite right now, just for doing quick rips, because we can keep this guy under 250 grams, or you can take it above 250 grams and add some bigger motors. So what this one is basically kind of the same layout. You can see there's a stack in here, but it's a little bit different than the one on the Hummingbird. This is the HD0. This is a race stack, effectively. HD0, Halo, flight controller, ESC. And the idea is that this is this can put out 70 amps. So while you really have to push it to take that much, it'll basically always give you as much energy as you need for this size of drone. It's also got the DJI Pro in the front there. And then we've got our 2 antennas in the back. This is the ELRS that is actually one of the ELRS for the race stack for the HD0. But we have a second one up front. So that's another major difference of the 2 different flight stacks, is that the flight controller from Flywoo only supports a single ELRS, but the HD0 one supports 2. So gives you better connection. It's called diversity, and basically it gives you a better connection because it'll choose whichever of those 2 antennas is putting out the best signal and connect with it in real time. So otherwise, the modification to the lens angle here is done through some screws that are just mounting on the side there, so you can do it on the fly without having to swap your canopy. So your canopy here is set to 25 degrees, and if you want to change it, you pull the whole canopy out, which is pretty simple because it's just got some screws in the side there. But for this one, you don't have to take anything apart. The top of the drone doesn't come apart or anything like that. You can just adjust it on the fly. And then I actually have the 1804 motors mounted here. So this will just be a little bit of a demonstration of the size difference. These 1404 motors can work on this drone as well and keep it underneath 250 grams. They work totally fine. It's still a great flying machine. But if you step up to 1804 motors as an upgrade to the 1404s, you get significantly more punch. So you're above 250 grams. Now you're going to have to, register and step through, yada, yada, yada. But that's going to be a main differentiator in power. So we got our Pro air unit in the back with a TPU print that is shared with the ELRS. We've got wire guards now because for this drone we didn't care anymore about being under 250 grams. With some of the with the DJI Pro and the motor upgrade, we're already above, so we basically take it all the way and upgrade everything that can be upgraded. And then this guy is about 270 grams all up weight when it's got a 650 motor, but you can take it up to an 850 and 950 because you're already over 250 grams, and that's perfect. It'll fly excellent. So that's the 2 Hummingbirds.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Very nice.
Cheers.
Very in-depth explanation.
Yeah, maybe that was a little bit too much.
No, you're great. Good job, Rich.
You want to talk about the other ones, or you want me to keep going?
No, you're good at it.
Okay.
You got this. I'll add side commentary every once in a while.
Okay.
Chase away the children when they eventually barge
Sounds
in.
good. Yeah. Just take a quick coffee break and we'll get back to it here.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't mind, I'll just make some space, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Put this back on the mat.
Move them boys out of the way. Go on, them boys.
If you don't mind just putting this.
Oh, yeah. That foot's seen better days.
Yeah.
This guy's pretty dusty and rusty. We gotta give him a little TLC. That's funny.
Okay. Well, let's start talking about our big chonkers. This is one of the Falcons. So this is a Quad Mula Siren F5S2 frame. And we've used some of their original parts, like the canopy and the feet. But in a lot of cases, we've actually gone through and pretty heavily modified or invented new 3D prints to fit this particular design. So we've got wire guards that are custom made. We actually have a DJI 04 Pro system, or this is the standard system from Flywoo. And so this mounting at the back houses the actual board where you can plug the USB in. We have a single antenna, but then this guy doesn't have that little tiny buzzer. It's got a Wi-Fi buzzer that's mounted on the side here. Let's see if the camera can get it. There's a little button on the side for turning it off, with a capacitor on the other side. Let me see if I can get it. Whee! You can kind of see it in front of the board there with the yellow coming out the top. So that print it's a pretty tight fit to get all of that in there, but we did get it in the end. And so this is what a 5-inch drone looks like. So
pretty chunky, compared to the Pro here.
Yeah, so
Hummingbird Pro.
We're stepping up pretty significantly. We've gone from 2.5 to 3.5, and now from 3.5 to 5-inch. And 5-inch is what is generally considered the standard for FPV. You can see that it's quite a bit larger. It really moves. This one we've taken above 150 kilometers. It hustles. You don't want to fly this anywhere that's small. Even a football field is too small for this. You're going to want to take it somewhere that you can actually let it rip, like a field. And other than that, I mean, we've had great success using the Flywoo camera. You still get the 4K through here. You can record right to the inbuilt memory. It doesn't support an SD card, so if you want to do any recording, it's better to do the recording through the goggles, but then you get the on-screen display, or the OSD. So a little bit limited in what you can actually record, but the experience of flying is still great. And this has a 155 field of view lens, 155 degrees. So it improves from the 119 that's on the standard 04. And I think that DJI just released their a home version of it that Flywoo's using now that has 159 degrees field of view. So pretty cool. These motors are 2207s. These are also from RC and Power. They are 1950 in their KV. So these are pretty chonky. They can really move some air. They have great efficiency. And to be honest, this will fly however you want it. If you want to do some longer range stuff, you can put a larger battery on there, and as long as it's clear and you've got your ELRS, connecting well, you can go. You can just send it. If you want to do bando and freestyle, you've got some 5mm arms that are super tough.
Yeah, we're on a live stream right now.
One of your
Yes.
accounts.
Just like the smaller one, there's screws on the bottom. You take the 4 that are closest to the arms out, and so the arms will just quick eject, basically. You can just pull those screws out and then pop the arm out if you need to. Everything's accessible from the sides, so we don't have anything covering that. And then all the props spin outward so that you're never pushing things into the camera. It's always away from the camera. So that's the Falcon. We basically have another version of this, and just so you know, we are modifying this even further because people have been asking for GPS. So originally this was designed as like a bando freestyle frame, or as a bando freestyle build. And there's enough people asking for the GPS features that we're going through to make that available. So we'll have the GPS sticking out the back. It's pretty common. It's actually one of the most common ways that you'll see it, provided on a drone frame. And so you'll have those features like recovery, return to home. You'll have the navigation to where you took off from. You'll have your satellite count, the basics. So all that is provided through Betaflight because all the drones are configured with Betaflight. Our last one.
Our chunky pretty boy.
This is a Falcon Pro. shout out to Steve again. This is a Superfly frame. It is the Sync Mode V2. So it uses a like woven blue carbon, which is unique because every other carbon we're using is just a black standard. But this one's special because it's got that blue coloration. We've also put here the 2207 RC and Power Champions Edition. So these are 2150 kV and just an even more powerful motor. So this one is really designed to hustle and move. It's a crazy nice frame. Love it with the pink. Again, a lot of this has been custom designed. So we have gone through and made our own cage, made our own antenna mount. We've got our GPS that'll be coming out the back. Again, we've got our buzzer and capacitor that's right behind the camera there. A little tough to show you, but there's the button. And this guy is got the HD0 Halo stack in it. So this one had a Flywoo stack with a single ELRS at the back there. This one has the HD0 and it's got one antenna here, and then we've got a vertical antenna on the side. The antennas are best when they're oriented in this fashion because you can just get the best coverage. You get both the vertical and the horizontal. It's a little bit tougher on a smaller frame to make all that work with the space, but this is available here. And then just like the other Falcon, we've got motor guards, we've got our feet to protect the arms and the motors. So, and then there are some pretty chunky pieces of carbon at the front here with the camera. So you should see that it's behind the plane of the front bumpers. And so if you do take a hit, you're going to be taking it right off the front of the carbon and your camera is going to be okay. So they've done a really good job designing this. Thanks so much, Steve. And that is the basics of each of the WingSmith drones. So we've got two Falcons just behind the camera.
There we go. And we've got our Hummingbird Pro and then our In Shambles Hummingbird.
So this one is getting some modifications done to it right now, but hopefully this gives you a basic idea. There's a lot of numbers, a lot of things getting thrown at you there, but the idea is that there's a big size difference between a 2.5 inch up to a 5 inch, and even between a 3.5 inch and a 5 inch. So if you're looking to just get started, really heavily recommend looking at something like the Hummingbird or the Hummingbird Pro. It's a little bit easier, especially if you keep them under the 250 gram mark. Then you don't have to register the drone, you don't have to step through the pilot's license, at least for now, and you've got a lot more accessibility to places that you can fly safely. Whereas if you're going with a Falcon or a 5-inch drone, you are going to be a lot more careful on where you're flying because they move. You can cross a field in seconds, like maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you can cross an entire football field. So you are hustling, and these will give you a lot more range, a lot more depth in what kind of batteries that you're able to use, and basically offer the full suite of features with the active buzzer and the best board, the best camera. But you are going to be above 250 grams, so you're going to need to register the drone, do the pilot's license, and then just be aware of where you're flying so that you're not within an aerodome. So a lot of those rules are consistent, Canada, United States, Europe, etc. You'll just want to be aware of your local regulations. And if you're starting, it's easier to start small. But we have had some comments about why not just build everything from scratch. That's totally valid. A lot of people do just start by building from scratch. The option has always been there and will continue to be there. That's something that everybody is totally welcome to start their FPV journey with. But in a lot of cases, it can be easier to start something when you know what it's supposed to look like. So it's kind of like the idea of if you've ever had to fix a bike, and did you start that process by building the bike, or did you fix an already made bike? It's sometimes easier to know where the chain is supposed to go, or a little easier to replace a motor or something like that if you already know what that's supposed to look like. So what WingSmith is trying to do is make it as simple as possible to see what this is supposed to look like. We'll set everything up, we'll bind everything, your controllers, your goggles, choosing the batteries, things like that, and just really help you kind of get your foot in the door. And then you can learn through either WingSmith Academy or YouTube videos like Joshua Bardwell, excellent, Oscar Liang, excellent. There's lots and lots of resources out there for, continuing to learn what motor KV is, or, how many amps do you need, or XYZ. There's a million things to know about FPV. And so we're here to help and just get you started.
And I mean, like, if you, I'm still here. I mean, if you do need extra help, that's why we have our repair services. It's really easy to book on our website. You can just book a free 15-minute consult, and we'll help walk you through any of the basic repairs. And if you need extra help, you can send the drone into us, and we can help you with those bigger repairs. But yeah, we're basically trying to make it a lot easier for people to get into FPV. We don't think that it's quite easy right now.
Yeah, I mean,
it took us years to get to this point. So
there are definitely a lot of people that are very comfortable because they've already made all that investment in time and knowledge into learning everything, or at least as much as they have up to this point. But there are lots of people that we talk to that are that are interested that don't really care about learning all the tricks of soldering or learning electrical engineering effectively to match your board with your camera, with your battery, or even things like heat shrink. Like, how many people have a heat shrink gun in their home? Not that many. Yeah. So this is just a way of us to help kickstart people with interest into FPV, and help guide those first few decisions so that it's not overwhelming. And then as things become more comfortable, there's a whole world out there. There's a million different things you can do, and these are just one option, but we think they're a great way to get started. So I think that's everything for showing off the drones really quickly. And we're going to keep this live stream light, tight, and bright, so pretty easy going. And I guess we don't really have any questions at this point. So is there anything that you'd like to add, babe?
I guess just that all of our beginner kits do come with a repair kit that includes a soldering iron and a multimeter. So it'll really help make those basic repairs a lot easier, just to set you up with some of the
barely
tools.
On the camera.
I know,
there you
go. But it comes with a repair kit just to make it a little bit easier for you to get started on learning how to do some of those basic repairs.
Yeah, and in that same vein, we do offer drone-only options, which are exactly what they sound like. It's just the drone. But in the kit, we've also partnered with Liftoff as a simulator. So for rainy days like we're having right now, if you can't get out and fly to practice, or you just want to get your reps in before taking your machine and sending it up into the air for real, that's an excellent simulator. It's been widely reviewed as one of the best ways to get introduced. And I mean, really commonly online, you'll see how should I get started? Buy a Radio Master Pocket, get Liftoff. Those are really, really common. And both of those are included in the kit. So if you're interested, with that and the rest of the FPV scene, is something you're interested in, it's a great way to get started, because the other option is just start really small with those one or two pieces, and then over time you'll say get your drone, but then you'll need to get your batteries, and then you'll need to get the charger, the repair kit, learn soldering. So it's these are things that will come and is part of that journey, but sometimes it's nice when all those things come together, when you can have it available when you need it, rather than saying, I didn't realize I needed this one thing and now I don't have it, so I'm going to have to wait another week or two to get started. So hopefully, if you have any questions, you can reach out anytime. Me and Carmen are welcome to anything you might have questions about or comments. We'd love to hear from you. But that's going to wrap up this live stream. So thanks so much for tuning in, those of you that have.
Thank you.
And if there's anything that you need, please reach out anytime. Otherwise, I'll just do a shameless plug that we are going to be at the Canada Day event in Saskatoon, downtown River Landing. We'll have our drones out to show. We'll have things like a simulator to test, and we'll have just us there to answer any questions or show off a few different items. So we'd love to have a chat.
Yeah. And also, one more shameless plug. Reminder that our early bird pricing does end on July 1st. So if you're wanting to get the kits or the drones at their current price, you will have to do that before July 1st, because then we're going to be raising the prices, unfortunately.
Right. Early bird pricing doesn't last forever. So
Yeah.
we're ending the availability of that pricing on the 1st, and we'll keep on keeping on from there. So
Yeah.
it's been great. Thanks so much for tuning in,
Thanks,
and we'll
guys.
talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.